Wake up. Oh yeah, me too. Not really on Saturday though. What did I do now? Well, I think you can see what I did. Yeah, that's right, I got another one. Not quite sure what I'm doing here, but I guess I completed the trifecta. I'm going to have a Targa, I got a coupe now, and the cabriolet, and well, this was a factory Mexico blue car. Had to be really excited. It was local. I went and picked it up. My shipping cost was like 85 bucks. Couldn't pass it up. Couldn't say no to myself. Anyway, let's get it on the lift and see what the crap I bought this time. Straighten out more. Alright, well there you have it. It's up on the lift now, and we'll spend a little bit of time there. And here's my 1974 911 G-body coupe. So, well, it's missing lots of parts, as you can see, but I got a lot of them. I got most of the glass, and, you know, most of the engine, and most of the interior, but certainly not everything. So, of course, this is going to cost me a lot of money. But I really wanted a coupe, so I kind of had to do it. Also, this has been through Porsche, and actually have a certificate of authenticity that states the transmission that came with it and the engine that came with it, and the color that it was supposed to be, and the options that it had, and, well, it's a legit 911 without a salvage title. Well, let's just kind of go around it, and well, I'll show you some of the bad and the ugly, and maybe what I have planned for this. All right, now first off, you can see it's missing, you know, some body parts here, down here. I think what happened is they rusted out, and he took everything and threw it away. So if he had a problem with something, well, it ended up in the trash, and that's really too bad because, well, the fuel tank ended up there too, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. So you go around here to the rear, you can see the original colors kind of shining through the US bumper overriders there, or bumperettes, whatever you want to call it, and that's the original color. It's also on the inside, and boy, whoever chose this color right here has interesting taste, especially over that blue. So here's the 2.7 naturally aspirated engine. So this is a CIS engine again, meaning mechanical fuel injection, and I'm very familiar with these and familiar with the mechanical injection part of it, so shouldn't have too much of trouble getting it apart and getting it back together. And hopefully it runs better than that last one I built. All right, now on the inside, you got the squeak. I love that. And you can see, once again, the original doors were Mexico blue. The jambs weren't quite painted. Well, they kind of were, I think the carpet kind of goes over here, and then there's a step there. So, but you can see the blue kind of started wearing off and looking ugly for the guy. And then it has just a regular dash, 5-gauge dash, and no seats or nothing like that. That's going to take a bit. Up here you can see, well, what he told me is that, you know, these fenders here, they rusted out, so you got a couple different fenders here. Of course, this one has the Euro turn signal. I don't like that. I'm going to turn it back to original and have to weld those holes up. Kind of like the mirror, the style of mirror it had on it, and that's the only mirror it should have on it. And there's not one on the other side, so I'm thankful for that. Windshield's already out. No rust down here. That's a good thing. All right, and in here, we have a fuel tank that I purchased. Apparently he took the original fuel tank out, threw it all away. So I do have the smuggler's box cover. There's some things missing out there. Sorry about the light here, it's a little bit low, but wasn't taking very good care of the fuse panel there, and that needs some work. And well, this whole thing's pretty much a mess. It's missing lots of fasteners and missing almost everything. All right, so on the front side of the car, you can see it's missing the fuel pump there. And I really wish you wouldn't have taken any of that off, but see there's hardly any rust, just some surface rust on the sway bar here. This should really all be taken down and you know, just pull the same thing I did on the first 911 I worked on, put all new rubber in and that kind of thing. But it's really too bad that the fuel pump's gone, all the fittings are gone, and I'm gonna have to make that up on my own. And on to the back here, this is really interesting. So I'm not really quite sure what that is. It looks like, from here, you'd think it'd be like motor oil, but it's not. I don't even know what it is. At this point, I think it's like road tar or something like that. But it's really weird because it didn't get on this piece here, and it didn't get way back here, but it's all over the transmission. It's the 915 transmission, by the way. And there's the serial for that. Somebody obviously scraped that off to check when they checked the serials of the vehicle, but man, it's even on the rear of the engine block right here. I don't know what this stuff is, but I have a guess that it may be some kind of gear oil that is so old that, well, it kind of turned into something like tar. Pretty sure that's what happened. Anyway, onto the back here, you can see you got a heat exchanger there. That looks pretty good. That one looks pretty good as well. There's a sump plate. Everything's looking good back there. Probably gonna be able to recondition that exhaust, that muffler, and well, overall, pretty happy, but what is that stuff? Well, you know what? Getting this car in the lift was the best thing I could do. Really wish I could have done that, well, before I offered him some money for the car, but yeah, it's really interesting, all of that black tar that's underneath there. It did soften up, too, with the heat gun, so yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen there, and I'm not quite sure if I may have to use something like paint stripper or something really nasty to get it off, but hey, that's kind of what you get when you buy a used car. Everything else looks really good. It's really sad that the guy took everything apart, like, you know, the fender pieces here, and he took this off, and, you know, he just threw everything away. And I asked him, I said, you know, where's the fittings for the fuel tank, for instance? You know, there's a fuel level sender in there. There's a bunch of fittings that go on the outside of the tank. And, well, he didn't have any of it. The reason he got rid of the fuel tank, well, because it has some crusty stuff on the exterior of the tank, and he didn't like it when he was going to do the restoration, so he chucked the whole thing. Now, unlike that other 911 that I bought, that cabriolet, the white one, it was a complete mess. The guy had kind of chopped and hacked it up throughout the years, and, well, this is just missing a whole bunch of parts. So overall, at least I have something that was a little less expensive. Oh yeah, that's right. One more thing I really like about this car. Now, the white one and the red one, well, they're both wide bodies, and they had been cut right about here. One was an SC, so it had kind of more of a flared fender, and one was a narrow body like this car, and, you know, they just stitched on the wide body flares. This is an actual true narrow body car, non-SC. So as you can see, well, this tire kind of sticks out a little further than it should because the offset's a little different because these cookie cutters are for an SC. But I do have some good wheels to put on it, and hey, it's gonna look like the original by the time I'm done. Well, I got a wrench in my hand, so I'm gonna start turning these, and I think what I'm gonna do for videos is just kind of show you an overview. Now, I've made a lot of videos on Porsche 911s. I've actually done, well, 2 of them now, and this is the 3rd. So I'm not gonna get into details on a lot of things, but I should have a pretty good paint and body video that will include 2 of those cars at least, and well, maybe we can learn some things there. If you get anything out of my videos at all, please subscribe if you haven't, and I can use every subscriber I can get. This thing ought to be pretty interesting.